Oh, hey, Jaime White here, Daily Pulse. I guess you were just watching me try and hide my fake cocaine here. I figure I'm in a fake Oval Office. I should have some fake cocaine. Don't have to worry about the fake Secret Service. They're not going to do anything. And then there's, the fake media. They don't care about anything. So, yeah, my fake Coke. 10 days. 10 days for an investigation into finding Coke in the White House. And they can't figure out who did it. Let's talk about the real Hunter Biden. Maybe Ashley. She has a little Coke problem too. My point meaning is this. They spent 10 days, the Secret Service, on investigating cocaine. Cocaine that was less than 20 feet to the Situation Room. Could have been anthrax. Could have been ricin. This could have fentanyl. Just touching this bag could put someone in the hospital or kill them. And our president walks right by it. Now KJP, she says that the Bidens weren't there that Friday, that Saturday, that Sunday. They weren't even there that Monday. She lied. They were there that Friday. As a matter of fact, they were there when the Secret Service did a sweep. They were still there after the Secret Service left. They didn't find anything at that time. And then lo and behold, this is found 2 days later. Now, I think in the most famous and secure house, probably the world, with cameras everywhere, guards with guns, and they can't find the person who put the Coke there, I think they know who did it. That's my opinion. They can't say who did it, because if they do, it would blow his sweetheart deal. It would blow his IRS ticket, his handgun ticket. Because if they said it was Hunter Biden, he would have to be charged. The deal would be thrown out. And he would be facing 20 years in jail. And you can't have that now, can you? You see, the Biden syndicate family strikes again. Yes, the Biden syndicate family. But it's what I told you about this White House in the last show. In the last show, I also told you how they're being racist. How there's a link of racism that stretches in the Democratic Party from the early 1800s all the way to now. And a part of it's called controlism. If you don't believe their beliefs, they're going to get you. Just found out today that President Trump, or former President Trump, is set to be indicted for January 6th. Probably on Friday, July 20th. But it could be any time within a week from Friday. This administration has utter contempt for the American people. Take Representative Jayapal, another woman from the squad. The other day, she had a nice little speech she gave at some dinner she was invited to speak at. And I found it interesting and almost confusing in a way that she would actually say this. I mean, out loud. I knew what they were thinking in private. But to say this out loud, she's on the podium. She's talking to all the people. And she says, we have been trying to prove for a long time that Israel is a racist state. This is what I'm talking about. These are the beliefs in this administration. Not all, but many. Now, she did walk it back. She apologized. Big deal. So you apologize. She got her point across. The day that President Biden is meeting the president of Israel, Herzog, she walks it back and says, I'm sorry. No. This is not the first time she's denigrated Israel. And she certainly denigrated many Americans here in the United States. This is what I'm talking about. Racism in this administration. This administration hates you if you think differently. They hate you if you voice your opinions. They just hate you, period. Until they need you. Until they need you. Watch in the upcoming weeks. Joe Lieberman's trying to get together this third party called No Labels. Manchin and I forget the other guy. They held a conference yesterday. And they're only going to do this if they feel Trump can win. My personal beliefs, and I've held these beliefs for many years, is we should disband the two-party system. And we're going to get into that in a later show. But if you disband the two-party system, you don't have people voting down party lines. You do away with lobbyists. That's just a start. But I'll get into that in a later show. But boy, would the Republicans and the Democrats fight that one. Imagine if you just had to vote for the person and not the party. How interesting that would be. Anyway, let's move on to something more frivolous. On July 6th, the CDC came out with guidelines to chest feed a baby. Really? Let's not do that again. Okay. So the guidelines are first of all, you have to, they say men can, feed babies. And in theory, men do have breasts and can feed babies if there are certain hormones injected into their body. Okay, that was a good one. So, if you're injecting hormones into a man's body so it can fill with a liquid, do you know how dangerous that is? Do you know, the CDC guidelines never mentioned how dangerous it is. They don't mention, this is the Centers for Disease Control. They're supposed to protect Americans. That's their job, to let us know about diseases and stuff like that. And meanwhile, they're telling men, they can become a buffet. A nice milk buffet. And that's not right. I have heard some call it ejaculation. This is what these chemicals turn it into. It's what it looks like. Okay?
Ew.
Yeah, very ill. What the hell's going on with our country? Really? Men can get pregnant? Now men can lactate? Are you kidding me?
Men cannot get pregnant. It's not a man getting pregnant.
I know.
It's a woman that's dressed like a man, right?
So they're doing a dress-up thing. Yeah, I know.
Now a real man can breastfeed? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes, they're saying a real man can breastfeed. But not a fake man.
What is a real man?
A real man, grabs his crotch when watching TV. A real man never asks for directions.
So they're injecting hormones, and I'm trying to understand. So they're injecting hormones in a man,
Correct.
and then the man is creating what? Because he doesn't have milk ducts.
No,
breast.
actually, well, you got to understand one thing about men's pecs or breasts, whatever you want to call them, okay? They, in theory, can hold milk, okay? If you stimulate them, you can create a liquid that would fill up the male's breast. It's disgusting, okay? And this liquid, with the right amount of hormones and certain chemicals or whatever it is, okay? Remember that Rose Montoya that was on the White House lawn, and it's a dude,
Yeah.
but she got fake breasts. She had fake breasts out to here, okay? Because she took all these hormones and stuff, blew out her tits.
Wait, are you saying she or he?
He.
Or
I said she.
Or shim?
See, a shim. The shim on the White House lawn. The shim on the White House lawn ripped off the shim's shirt. Hey, I think Hunter found the Coke. And, I mean, these things were big. They really were. It was utterly amazing. But, yes, I said utterly. There's a reason for that. Like a cow, you know. But so technically, yes, a man actually can,
So
with the
does-
right hormones and everything,
Right.
they can blow up their tits,
So does this?
and they can give what is theoretically called milk, but it's not.
Okay, so my question is, does the secretion have the ability to give the baby the nutrients that the baby needs to build antibodies? Because we have something called colostrum in
Right.
the beginning.
Okay?
And then it turns into milk. That colostrum is like golden for children, for babies.
Well, so yes, I'll answer it yes and no. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't know this. What the hell, you know? I was in the Navy, for Christ's sake. But, so yes, in theory, that's where they're working to it. But because of the type of chemicals that have to be used, and the CDC doesn't tell this part of the story. And you can ask doctors about this. Ask any gynecologist, okay? Ask any, person who deals with the, pregnant real women. If these guys are going to do that, there is a very, very good chance that these children, once they start drinking the so-called milk, can become paralyzed. It can go all the way to death. They can get very sick. It is not healthy because while the nutrients are there, they're not there in the right levels. Okay? And it will become very easy. You got to remember, these kids haven't built up an immune system yet.
But from my knowledge is the nutrients are there because throughout the pregnancy, the
That's
body
right.
is
That's right.
making this
That's right.
specifically
It's
for the
naturally,
baby.
it's homegrown.
Yes, so
It's homegrown.
if you put something in you to make, that is not, it's like every baby has the nutrients that the mother gives the baby.
That's right.
I mean,
And
you
that's
can-
why they don't want you drinking, when you're pregnant. And that's why they don't want you smoking when you're pregnant.
Right.
They don't want those chemicals
Right.
getting into your system and getting into the milk. Okay? Well, these chemicals that are going to be injected into the breast, some of them are not very good. And the child will drink that up. And I heard somewhere not too long ago, it was about at least 30% of the children drinking that will get sick, which to me is really high, okay? But when you're talking about 30% getting sick, you're talking about 20% of those kids probably dying. Something I heard, whether it's true or not, who the hell knows. But it doesn't make sense. A man cannot give nutrients to a child. Okay? Men cannot be buffets. Men love breasts. Real men love breasts. Okay? Hey, I love breasts. My first girlfriend, 13 years old. Oh my God, out to here. But, and I would have snacked on. Men should not ever chest feed a baby. They call it chest feeding, not breastfeeding. Chest feeding, like Tarzan, Imagine me with boobs. Whoa, okay. We will never speak about this again. Not bad, kind of like it. Maybe there's a perk to that. But seriously, people, what the hell's going on? The CDC. Let's end this. Stop putting our children in danger. Now, to a more serious note. Now we're on to something even more critical. I have a question for President Joe Biden. But he cannot answer this question. He will not answer this question. If he answers this question, like dominoes, he's done as President of the United States. What question could that be, you ask? I have not heard one reporter ask this question. Not one. So now we all know about the WhatsApp that Hunter Biden used to shake down the Chinese. That was back in 2017. On that WhatsApp message, he says, I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why. Why, oh why? The commitment made has not been fulfilled. What commitment? But that's not the question. But what is the commitment? Kind of interesting, isn't it? Then he says, tell the director that I would like to resolve this now, before it gets out of hand. Now meaning tonight. What kind of resolution is he looking for? Still, not the question. Then he goes, Z, if I get a call or a text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the director, or the chairman rather, I will make certain that between the man I'm sitting with, who's sitting next to me, and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. You will regret not following my direction. This is in 2017. Joe Biden sitting probably right here. And this is the text on the WhatsApp that he's sending. I am sitting here, he says, waiting for the call with my father. So, if he's not talking about Joe Biden, who is he talking about? Does he have more than one father? I don't think so. I love my dad, but I really wish I had a second one with money. But he has one with money. So he's sitting there, and he's shaking down the Chinese. And he's saying, you give us what we want, or else. He says, he says to the Chinese something. Now, there's no business here. There's no business here. Joe Biden is right here, and he's talking away on this WhatsApp. So let's almost get to the question I have for you, President Joe Biden. The question you cannot answer. It's a yes or no question, and yet you cannot answer it. There's probably 3 possible answers, and you can't answer it. Because any way you answer it, you're done. Because Democrats, some, are starting to realize that they don't want you as president, and they'll use this to take you down. So what is the question? Yes or no, Mr. President? Did Hunter Biden lie when he sent that message on the WhatsApp shaking down the Chinese? When he sent that message to Xi, did he lie? Simple yes or no question. But you see, it's not simple. If he says yes, Hunter Biden lied, well, he's thrown his son under the bus. Hunter Biden's never going to do that. Remember, Hunter Biden is the smartest man that Joe knows. A guy who won't even acknowledge his own daughter, but he's the smartest man he knows. So if he does that, and he says he lied, he's throwing Hunter under the bus. That will bring down Joe Biden. Okay? If he says, no, he didn't lie, then Joe Biden is admitting he was in the room when they were shaking down the Chinese. And that doesn't end well, Joe Biden. It doesn't end well. After all, you said you never spoke to Hunter Biden about his business dealings. Forget the fact that there's pictures of you with his business partners. I know you didn't see him. You probably don't see much. But guess what? I'm sure you heard something. So you did know about Hunter's business dealings because you are involved. This is my opinion. But I see facts like this. And to me, these facts are undisputable. Undisputable. Now, when this first came out, originally they said this was made up. This was not Hunter Biden WhatsApp. He had nothing to do with it. That was from his attorney. But now, they're just saying it evolved. You got to remember, Hunter is an addict. He was doing crack at the time. He was doing crack at the time. So he evolves from not his to doing crack. We all know. We all know. This is a real message to the Chinese. Joe Biden, you don't have the guts to answer that question. Plain and simple, you do not have the fucking guts. So, here's why Donald Trump is about to be indicted again. Today came out that Donald Trump, this past Sunday, got a letter that he's under investigation from the DOJ. He has 4 days to go to the grand jury. He's not going to do that. Why would he? Grand juries indict ham sandwiches. It's a well-known fact. So that means on Friday, July 20th, there's a good chance Donald Trump's going to be indicted again. How many charges? Who the hell knows? They'll probably figure out 20 or 30 things. Who knows? But there's a reason why this is coming out now and not early next year, like the crystal ball predicted. You see, tomorrow, 3 whistleblowers whistleblowers on the 19th of July, 2023, are going to come out and testify in front of Congress. Now, it had just been two. One stayed unnamed. He's going to be named tomorrow. And they're going to talk about this IRS deal, and they're going to talk about all this money that Hunter got. Okay? And that's tomorrow. They're going to talk about the $10 million that just 4 days after that WhatsApp message, the Biden's LLCs received. Pretty convenient, 4 days later, 10 mil. I guess the shakedown worked. But there's going to be a third whistleblower. There is an FBI agent who worked the case. He just came out yesterday. And he corroborated the first two whistleblowers' statements. Yes. And they're going to testify tomorrow, the 19th. No, tomorrow's the 19th. So the 21st, actually Fridays I think is the 21st. Okay, so Friday's the 21st. So Trump most likely will be indicted on Friday to the 21st, right after these whistleblowers come out, because they don't want the rest of the country to know about this. Very convenient that all of a sudden it's coming down now. Jack Smith is coming down now. I told you, they're going to get Donald Trump. Then they're going to go after his children. Trust me when I say they're going to go after Don Jr., Eric. They're going after him. They're going after the Trumps. They're going to try and wipe out the entire Trump family. They're starting with the head. Once you get the head, it's easier to get the lower branches. So, this is where work goes to cry. But remember, Joe Biden, you don't have the guts to answer that question. I want a president that has guts. Don't you? Done?